welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I'd do again something new on my channel. I'm going to talk through my drugstore makeup recommendations, the products that I absolutely love from the drugstore that I feel like people should be using and should know about. I've tried and tested a hell of a lot of makeup from the drugstore over the years, and these are my favourite products, so I thought I'd do a video sort of recommending them to you, and hopefully you'll find some of your favourite products, because these are pretty much all my favourite products. I don't tend to use high-end makeup that much. I have a couple of bits and pieces, like the all-nighter setting spray from Urban Decay, which is something that I can't live without in my makeup collection. But mostly the makeup that I use is drugstore, so I've got quite a few things to get through, so I'm just going to get started. In terms of primer, I'm not necessarily someone that actually uses primer that often. If I do use something under my foundation, it's generally just a moisturiser. This is the Nivea Men Protecting Care Rehydrating Moisturiser. Any kind of moisturiser with glycerin in it generally is going to work. Glycerin is kind of what makes your skin tacky, so sort of anything that goes over the top is going to stick. I'm not really a fan of these sort of pore filling primers like Benefit Professional and all those kind of silicone primers. I generally just stick to a moisturiser with glycerin in it, so I'm not particular about moisturiser. Anything with glycerin in it I'll generally pick up. But foundation I am quite picky with, and I've got three I want to talk about. So one of my long-term favourites is the Revlon Colour Stay combination to oily foundation, and I get the shade 180 beige, which looks like this. They do two, so they do one for combination to oily skin and one for dry to combination, I think. My skin type is really oily, really oily. And I really like this foundation. It's really full coverage and it does last quite well on my skin. So I may still have to powder sort of during the day, but your skin just looks flawless. It's very light on your skin, so it doesn't feel like you've got much on your skin, but your skin just looks so airbrushed and so beautiful. I think this is about £10 or £11, so in terms of like a drugstore foundation it's sort of more on the higher end, I guess, but totally worth it. Would definitely recommend that one. The most expensive drugstore foundation that I have is the EX1 Invisiwear Liquid Foundation. I've got the shade 1.0, which I think is their lightest shade. It just sort of looks like this. I love the packaging with this sort of like coppery packaging, just a plastic one. Again, this is really sort of full coverage, really lightweight on your skin. I'm sure you can see a pattern here. Absolutely looks completely flawless. This one's probably the one out of the three that lasts the least well, but I would still definitely get maybe 5-6 hours out of this before needing to powder, which is really good. They've got a lot of shades, it matches really well to my skin tone, and I just like the way it looks on my skin. So again, there is that one. And my absolute favourite out of the three is the Maybelline 24 Hours Super Stay Foundation. I have the shade, I can't find it, 10 Ivory I have, which I think is again maybe the lightest shade. I'm pretty pale, as you can probably see, although the lighting in here probably doesn't show it as much. But absolute holy grail drugstore foundation. If you haven't tried this and you have oily skin, you need it in your life. It lasts so well on my skin, which is also the main reason that I really like it. I could go probably about 10 hours, at least 10 to 12 hours with this without powdering, which is incredible. It's the only foundation I've found that actually lasts that well on my skin, because like I said, I am pretty oily. Really good colour match, really again lightweight, really full coverage, looks absolutely flawless. It covers everything, but again it sort of looks natural. It doesn't look cakey in any way. and it is my absolute favourite foundation at the moment. I've been using this for a few months now, and I wouldn't use any other foundation, so that's that. In terms of concealer, I've only got one favourite, and that is the Revolution Concealer and Define. I just buy the super size because I think you get more for your money. This is just the original, this is not the new one for sort of dry skin. This lasts so on my skin. It is super full coverage. I'm sure people have heard so much about this being like a dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape. I honestly wouldn't use any other concealer now. I've even tried some from the high end that I wouldn't choose over this. This is the only concealer I use. I get the shade C1. I've tried C05, but I think it's just a little bit too light for me. But absolute holy grail concealer. Been using it for months and will probably not change for a long time until something would have to be really good to stop me using this. So yeah, definitely recommend that. Two powders next. I have a baking powder and then like a sort of setting powder. First one is the hahah Revolution coconut scented baking powder. This on the smell, like I'm such a fan of coconut and it honestly smells amazing. It sort of reminds me of like being on holiday. This I would only use to bake under my eyes because it's quite white. It doesn't give flashback as far as I'm aware, because it's not actually like properly white, but this works really well for baking under the eyes. Really brightens under eyes, doesn't look cakey, like I said, lasts really well, doesn't really crease on me, but I mean everybody's under eyes are quite different, so it might crease on you, but honestly for the price I think this is about £4 and it is amazing. And then for actual face powder, I always use the Rimmel London Match Perfection powder. This is just in 001 transparent. I think this is about £7 or £8. It's kind of gone up in price recently, but I absolutely love this. It looks really nice on the skin. Again, doesn't look cakey in any way. Kind of sort of just airbrushes the skin. Sets in my makeup really well. I generally get quite a lot of hours without my skin starting to go oily with this, which is what I love. I've been using it for quite a long time. I'm struggling to sort of find a powder drugstore that beats this. If you've got any recommendations for translucent sort of, what's these, like these loose powders, if you've got any recommendations for any from the drugstore that you think are better than this one, if you've tried this, then please let me know, because I'm definitely always on the lookout for a new powder. In terms of sort of bronzers and sort of face products, the main bronzer I use on a day-to-day basis is this one. This is the MUA Bronze Perfection Matte. This is just in this shade Sunset Tan, and as you can see I've used it quite a lot. I just find this is a really nice colour for my skin tone. Also I'm quite pale. This doesn't look too orangey on my skin, which is what I like. It's sort of buildable. You have to sort of swirl your brush in and then tap off the excess because it can be a little bit much, but I just take a bit of time and sort of build it up, and I think it looks beautiful. Look very like sort of sun-kissed. It doesn't go patchy in any way, and yeah, it's just sort of my go-to holy grail bronzer. But then recently I discovered this little kit from Makeup Revolution. This is a contour and glow kit, just from Revolution, and as you can see it's sort of got like a contour, a bronzer, then sort of like a dark highlighter, highlighter for darker skin tones, and then it's quite a light highlighter. I'll swatch those highlighters just so you can see. So as you can see, that's a sort of darker one, that's the darker one, and then that's lighter. It's going to be a bit sort of really hard to see in this light maybe, but hopefully you can see that. They're really lovely. I generally sort of just use the bronzer in this. I have used the highlight once or twice, but it's just not quite blinding enough for me. I've got a highlighter palette to talk to you about in a minute, and I have used the contour, but I generally just use it with a really light hand, because I do actually think this is sort of a tiny bit too dark for me, but I can definitely make it work. And I actually think I got this free with like a Superdrug deal when it was like 3 for 2 or something. but I don't think this is actually, I think this is very inexpensive. I would definitely recommend that one. In terms of blush, again, I've only got one. I don't really experiment with blush that much, in all honesty. This is the blush I've had for probably a year or two, and I'm just sort of getting down to the pan, but it's something that I'll be repurchasing. This is the Max Factor Creme Blush in the shade 15 Seductive Pink. It's not a cream blush though, it is powder. It's going to be really hard to see. It's sort of like a pink, but it has like gold reflex in it, and it's absolutely stunning. Again, really inexpensive. It's kind of reminds me sort of like NARS Orgasm kind of blushes, where there's sort of a flush of pink, quite gold reflect, you know, like a lot of gold reflexing, quite reflective on the skin, makes you look super healthy. Absolutely love it. This is the only blush that I actually ever reach for. I've got quite a few, but this is the only one I ever reach for, and I would definitely recommend it. And in terms of highlight, there's only one highlighter palette that I've been using for quite a long time now, and that's this one. This is so beaten up because I take it everywhere with me whenever I travel, and I literally use it every single day. This is the Makeup Revolution Soph highlighter palette. I'll take the front off. As you can see, mine is just completely broken because I travel with it quite a lot. And obviously you can tell that I've used this because the top 4 shades are sort of dwindling. So these two are sort of more champagne-y kind of shades, and then these two are sort of more goldy kind of shades, and then there's like a pink shade, a sort of icy shade, and then 2 shades for more like darker skin tones. So there's basically a shade for everybody in this palette. These two that I've pretty much used up are absolutely beautiful, and for pale skin they are amazing. I'm currently mixing these two at the moment, which does kind of work. I was worried that these two would be a little bit dark, but actually they work really, really well. And they give me sort of like a really sort of goldy, champagne-y kind of glow. It is blinding, like absolutely blinding. What I do is, after I do my bronzer in my I'll do my bronzer, and then I'll put the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray on, and then do the highlight as it's wet, as my skin's wet, and it is blinding. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna have to go and repurchase this, I think, because these 4 shades, I think these two are going to be a little bit dark for me, and then I'm not a fan of sort of pinky toned highlighters, but that's just also my personal preference. And again, I think the icy shade is a little bit light for me to use sort of on a daily basis, but I'll use it for like under the brow bone or in a corner kind of highlight. But I'm definitely going to go and repurchase this. I definitely think I need a new one, but definitely recommend, if you haven't tried this, you definitely need to. It is amazing. In terms of brows then, I've just sort of quickly done my brows before I came on camera. This is a new product for me. I've only been using it for a few weeks, but I absolutely love it. This is the Revolution Pro Duo Brow Powder, and I've got the shade Dark Brown. As you can see, I kind of only used the dark shade, which is what I've got on my brows today, and I just use a sort of angled brush. I think it does work better if you sort of put your foundation on first, so it's got sort of like a tacky base, but this is on dry skin and it works absolutely fine. This is definitely a dupe for the Illamasqua Brow Cake. If you've ever used that in the shade Thunder, that was my holy grail brow product, and it was just a dark brown powder basically. But this is the closest thing I can find to, so also the dark shade at the top, it's the closest thing I can find to that. So I've been really enjoying using that at the moment. And in terms of the brow gel, I just use the e.l.f. Wow Brow. This is in the shade Deep Brown. It's just sort of a little tiny, sort of like a mascara wand brush, and it's like a tinted brow gel. Sticks my brow hairs down really, really well. Gives them a nice tint. There's never sort of too much on the brush, and my brows last all day. So that's, and it's really, really, really inexpensive. In terms of mascara, I've got 2 that I really like. The first one is the Mascara Revolution. This is really good for like really sort of big, it's more clumpy, this one. You definitely get more of that sort of like a clumpy lash. It's got quite a big sort of brush. If you can see, that's quite like a chunky brush. So it definitely gives you more of like a clumpier really like wispy lash, which is what I quite like about it. I do like a clumpy lash. I've got lash extensions on at the moment, but when I wear mascara I do like sort of like a big sort of clumpy lash. Whereas this one, this is the Collection Lash Surge, absolute holy grail of this one. This sort of lots of volume, very wispy, very long. Sorry, my camera's just totally cut out there. As I was saying, yeah, the Collection Lash Surge, really long lashes, really like voluminous lashes, very wispy. This is sort of like my everyday mascara. I don't use this one as much, but I like sort of clumpy lash, but definite sort of everyday holy grail mascara. I think it's like a £5. It is incredible for the price. I'll just show you the brush so you can see. It's just a sort of standard mascara wand, but the actual formula of it is amazing. That's the one mascara I would recommend from the drugstore. I'll do eyeshadow and then I'll do eyeliner. The only sort of drugstore palettes that I generally tend to use are the Makeup Revolution ones. My favourite ones are actually the Soph ones. I am a big fan of Soph Does Nails anyway, and I have watched her channel for a long time. So I've got the highlighter palette and the 2 eyeshadow palettes, but the ones she's created, this is the original one. The lighting's not that great in here, to be honest, but this is beautiful. The sort of shimmery shades, I especially love this sort of green. This is, I can't remember what shade this is, I've lost the sort of insert, but this shade is beautiful. It's got a really great black. Some of the other sort of the shimmer shades in this are beautiful, but even the sort of matte shades, really pigmented. It's got a huge mix of shades. There's sort of there's a colour for sort of everybody. See, they're very, very pigmented. So that's the original Soph palette, and then the Soph Extra Spice is even more beautiful. Mine is incredibly beaten up. I was using this one for brows, which is why that one's kind of beaten. You could definitely tell that I've used this a hell of a lot. The shade Infinity, which is this here, this silver, is the most beautiful shade I think I've ever seen. It's a very like glittery silver, and honestly I use this shade so much. It is beautiful on the eyes. It pairs with any look, and that's probably my favourite shade in this palette. But I do love these 3 here. So you've got Vitamin C, which is the yellow, Sweet and Sour, which is the orange, and then 21, which is sort of the red. And these are all incredibly pigmented and absolutely beautiful shades. I think you could use them to create like such a lovely sunset look. There's so many looks on YouTube done with this palette, and this is my absolute go-to. This is the one that goes travelling with me. This is the one that I basically take everywhere, because I think there's so many looks you could create. There's like a sort of a brown smoky one. There's some sort of like greeny dye colours, you could like a khaki. Obviously there's like these sort of sunset colours. You could do like a black smoky eye. Or you could sort of keep it very simple and just sort of use the light browns and maybe the silver. There's so many lovely looks you can create with this, and I think it's a beautiful eyeshadow palette. The other main one I like from Makeup Revolution is this one, which is the Neutrals 2 palette. When this came out, I think it was sort of a dupe for the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, and I do have that palette. And this is a really, really incredible dupe for it. Again, the lighting is poor in here. But any Makeup Revolution palette is beautiful. They've released so many that I haven't actually got my hands on yet. But Makeup Revolution definitely the best drugstore brand for makeup palettes. So if you haven't tried a Makeup Revolution palette, I would definitely get on that, because I think their eyeshadows are the best quality for the price that you're paying. You've probably noticed a trend in terms of Revolution. The concealer, the powder, the contour kit, the brow stuff, the mascara, the palettes, and this, and there is some lip stuff as well. Makeup Revolution is probably, well, they're called Revolution now, aren't they? Definitely, I think, my favourite drugstore brand. Just, I think for the price that you pay, the quality is unbelievable. So yeah, eyeliner, this is the Revolution, I think it's called the Renaissance Flick. So it's just sort of like a pen eyeliner, but the pen's sort of really fine, but it's sort of like bendable, really black. I don't find it smudges. It's really easy to create like a really sharp wing with it, and yeah, it's just, I think this is the only mascara that I found that I can actually really get along with. I've struggled with eyeliner for quite a long time, and this is the, and I've just dropped it, this is the perfect eyeliner. I think I would definitely recommend this one, especially if you're new to eyeliner, or new to these sort of pen eyeliners. You want to try something that sort of, you want to try wings and sort of creating that look, then I would definitely recommend that one. And in terms of lips, I have a few options, just based on, just for lip balm, Vaseline. That's generally all I use. I know people probably will spend quite a bit on a lip balm, but honestly, Vaseline is always my go-to choice. And then in terms of the lipsticks I like using, I am a liquid lipstick kind of person. I have got one lipstick in this, but generally I go for liquid lipsticks. My favourite ones from the drugstore are the Makeup Revolution ones. These are the Pro Supreme Matte Lip Pigments. I have the shade Visionary, which is sort of like, I'll show you in a second, which is sort of like a mauvey pink, and the shade Inconspicuous, which is a bright red. So this is the shade Visionary. I'm just trying to work out where I can show you. So that's the shade Visionary. It's like sort of mauvey pink. That, I would definitely say that's my favourite sort of nude lipstick to wear on a regular basis. And then this is the shade Visionary, no, sorry, Inconspicuous. This one is beautiful. This is like my go-to red, as you can see. It's like a sort of orangey red, but when it's on your lips, it is literally like a bright blood red. I've had so many compliments when I've been wearing this. Whenever I wear it, there's always at least one person who will ask me where my lipstick is from. Absolutely gorgeous shade. I definitely wear it a lot around Christmas because I just think the colour, it just really stands out, especially if you've got quite like a natural eye look and you want a really bright lip. I would definitely go for that one. The other ones are the MUA Velvet Lip Lacquers. I think they still do these. I've had this one for years now. This is a shade Reckless, which again is like a bright red. I'll do it next to that one so you can kind of see the difference. This is the Makeup Revolution one's definitely got more of like an orange undertone, whereas this is definitely more of like a deep red undertone. So that's the MUA one, and that one's the Makeup Revolution one. So you can kind of see that this one's a lot more orangey, and this one's also got more definitely of a red undertone. But again, the formula of these are actually really nice. Same with these. When I buy a matte liquid lipstick, it's got to be comfortable, so not drying at all. It's got to have lasting power, which all these do. I've drank, eaten food and all that through these, and they stayed put. The only thing I find with these is if you're going to top them up, if you've lost quite a bit of it and you want to top it up, I would just take it off and start again, because these can get a little bit sort of bitty if you keep reapplying them like over and over again. Don't find that with these ones, and all of these are really inexpensive. I think these are maybe £4 or £5. I think these are £4. But again, really like the formula of these. These are really lightweight, not drying at all, last a really long time, and the colours are beautiful, and you can reapply these ones, which is what I like about them. I have another shade of that, but I can't seem to find it. I'm in the middle of moving and packing and unpacking, so I've lost the other shade to that. But they do have some lovely shades of the MUA ones. And then in terms of lipstick, the only real lipstick that I generally use on a day-to-day basis is this one. This is the Primark matte matte lipstick in the shade In the Buff. This is sort of a mix, I would say, between MAC Velvet Teddy and MAC Stone. It's sort of a shade in between the two. It's a little bit darker than MAC Velvet Teddy, but it's not as dark as MAC Stone. That's that one. Hopefully the lighting doesn't mess that one up. I think these are like maybe like £1.50 or £2, and actually the formula is really lovely. It's really creamy. It doesn't really pick up on dry patches on your lips. They haven't got the best lasting power because you know, it's a lipstick. It's not matte, so it's not gonna stay on all day, but you can easily just reapply it. Just quickly whack it back on. It doesn't make a difference if you reapply it. It feels exactly the same. Really easily goes on. Just to show you. And it's an absolutely gorgeous colour. I do love a nude lip. So in terms of a nude lip, this is the one that I would go for. It's more of like a sort of a satin finish, I'd say. It's not completely matte, but it's not like a gloss. It's sort of like just it says matte, but I wouldn't say it's totally matte. It's a little bit more of like a satin, but that just means it's comfortable and that it's not obviously drying on your lips. So yeah, I know a lot of people rave about Primark lipsticks, and I do really like this one. They've probably got more shades that I haven't tried, which are quite nice, but I would definitely recommend this shade In the Buff if you sort of like the Velvet Teddy kind of look. It is very like matte Velvet Teddy, but just a little bit darker. Another one for that is the Revolution lipstick. It's in like a gold tube, and I think the shade's called Chauffeur. That was a really good dupe for MAC Velvet Teddy. I used that for quite a while, but as I've moved, I've thrown it because it basically had the tiniest little bit left in it, so obviously I didn't bother bringing it with me. But yeah, that's it. There are my recommendations for drugstore makeup. If you have any recommendations, then feel free to leave them in the comments. If you like any of these products, or you don't like any of these products, then, you know, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Hopefully there's some products there that you might try, and obviously you might find some favourites in any of them. So I hope you've enjoyed that. With this channel, I'm going to try and sort of mix it up a little bit. I've done quite a lot of mental health based videos recently, and obviously last week I did a haul, and then obviously this one. Maybe even next week I might put up a mental health one, and then again something different. I'm going to try and mix it up. I don't want there to just be so many mental health videos in a row. I want them to be a little bit different, and obviously try some new things, kind of see what the audience enjoys and what kind of things you'd like to see. I'm going to start probably doing monthly favourites and that kind of stuff. Hopefully some, again, more makeup based videos, because my first video was a makeup based one and that went down really well. So again, I could do a full face of makeup, sort of a glam look. Yeah, any more product recommendations, I could do like high-end versus drugstore, all those kind of things. So if there's anything you actually want me to do on this channel, then just leave me a comment and let me know. I've got a whole list of ideas that I'm just trying to work through at the moment, and go from there. I do want to do a Q&A soon as well, so we'll see we'll see what happens. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed that. If you did, please leave me a like or a comment, and please subscribe to my channel if this is the kind of content that you want to see. Like I said, uploading every Friday at 4, so tune in then to see the next video. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.